Here's a fan theory. A certain portion of television history took place almost entirely inside the brain of a young autistic boy. Okay, so first things first, a couple days ago we released a version of this video that was wrong. My understanding of the Tommy Westphall Universe Hypothesis was just completely incorrect. If you would like to watch that video for academic purposes, you can click here, ding, or you can find a link in the description. We are going to turn off comments on that video. If you did write a comment, we saved it, we put it in a paste bin. There is also a link to that paste bin in the doobly-doo. Okay, now on to a version of this video that is, hopefully, correct. For the next several weeks here on Idea Channel, we're gonna be doing something a little bit different. Every other week, instead of taking a piece of popular culture and smashing it up against some academic or critical theory to see what happens, we're gonna talk about fan theories, speculations about the ways some of our favorite pieces of media may work, even if it doesn't really appear that way on the surface. We're gonna do 5 of them. We're gonna talk about Harry Potter, Pokemon, Star Wars, probably dip at least a little bit into Final Fantasy, Legend of Zelda, and a few others. The first fan theory we're gonna talk about right now is really, I think, something special. It's a little old, so it's gonna take some explaining, but I think it's important because it's paradigmatic of fan theories. It hits all of the fan theory high notes. It's called the Tommy Westphall Universe, or the Tommy Westphall Universe Hypothesis, and it states that over 400 television shows, and counting, all take place in the same universe. The theory is defended thusly. In 1988, the American television show Saint Elsewhere ended its broadcast run, a sort of dark comedic medical dramedy set in a hospital. The end of its final episode can be read to suggest that the entire series took place inside the brain of a minor character, a young autistic boy named Tommy Westphall. In a post titled 6 Degrees of St. Elsewhere, comic writer Dwayne McDuffie explains that this could mean most, if not nearly all of television had taken, was taking, and would continue to take place in Tommy's brain. He writes, if St. Elsewhere played by the rules of comics, either they wouldn't have been allowed to do it, or they would have precipitated a crisis in TV land far bloodier than DC Comics' Crisis on Infinite Earths. Why? Because crossover-wise, St. Elsewhere is the Kevin Bacon of TV shows. End quote. How so? Well, if Tommy imagined nearly everything about St. Elsewhere, including the people, and those people show up on other programs, doesn't it stand to reason that those programs are also imagined by Tommy Westphall? This theory says, yep. Now, what you might say is, okay, sure, but how many people, meaning characters, not actors, are gonna show up in other TV shows? How many crossovers could there possibly be? I hope you are watching this in your car, but parked, safe, and completely stationary, just so that you can literally buckle in. One central and very important crossover takes place when Alfre Woodard, who plays St. Elsewhere's Dr. Roxanne Turner, reprised that role in a 1998 episode of Homicide: Life on the Street titled Mercy. This means that if the fictional Dr. Turner is a complete Westphall fabrication and she shows up on Homicide, then Homicide must also, by extension, be a Westphall fabrication. But okay, hold on. Because Homicide and much of television draws from its surroundings, from the past and present of its medium as well as others, Tommy Westphall becomes not unlike the breadcrumb trail or contrast medium, making visible the extreme intertextuality of popular primetime TV. Once Homicide is part of the Tommy Westphall universe, every character crossing from it to other shows draws those shows into the Westphall universe, even if the characters crossing over aren't in St. Elsewhere to begin with. Characters crossing from those shows to a third circle of shows then draw more characters into the universe, and the process continues until the complex of TV we normally think of as being comprised of many discrete, fictional universes separated by show title is laid out as one continuous fictional landscape.
Whoa, unbelievable.
And as you might imagine, that landscape is big. Just to take you down one pathway, source here, Elliot Carlin from Newhart visits the psych ward in St. Elsewhere. Laryl, Daryl, and Daryl, also from Newhart, squat in Coach Hayden's cabin. Coach and Drew Carey, as well as Alan and Grace Under Fire, all end up together in Las Vegas during a crossover block. Mimi from The Drew Carey Show appears in The Hughleys. Daryl Hughley and Nikki Parker from The Parkers cross over onto each other's shows. The Parkers is a spinoff of Moesha, whose Niecy and Hakeem go to the prom in Clueless, whose main character Cher was visited by Sabrina the Teenage Witch. From Newhart to Sabrina, all in Tommy's mind. But it doesn't stop at just characters. Oh no, props work too. For example, John Munch from Homicide, which remember is part of the Westphall universe because of Dr. Turner, questions the lone gunman from the X-Files. The X-Files cancer man smokes Morley cigarettes. Morley cigarettes have been in 24, American Horror Story, The Americans, Breaking Bad, Frasier, Orange is the New Black, Shameless, That 70s Show, Up All Night, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and as you may have guessed, many other shows. The ending of St. Elsewhere, with its snow globe and slow zoom and exposition suggesting Tommy has imagined 6 whole seasons of television, and perhaps countless others, provides the final piece for a puzzle many television fans would like to solve generally. How can we imagine all or much of the media we love being somehow related, somehow intertwined, capable of interacting? Is there a pathway between Mulder and Spike? What if someone on the John Larroquette Show influenced history in such a way that it made certain portions of Star Trek possible? In the way that it's fun to see public figures you like interacting with one another on social media, it's fun to consider how your favorite fictional universes may intersect or interact. Heck, it's a whole genre of fan fiction. It's even an incredibly popular video game. But the point, I don't think, is that the Tommy Westphall Universe Hypothesis, or any other fan theory for that matter, is correct, is 100% and totally verifiable, and we figured out a secret thing that's actually true about television and whoopah, bow before its deductive completeness. The point is that fan theories provide new ways to think with and at our favorite pieces of media and culture. Fan theories try to determine what new or exciting situation can be reasonably wrung out of a story based on what's already there. A good fan theory rearranges or reinterprets but doesn't recreate and append. They allow us new ways to consider well-known, often discussed, popular, and/or beloved media, and they almost always meet whatever that media is on its own terms. This approach has its pros and its cons, but most importantly, it's fun. For me, fan theories are kind of like critical thinking popcorn. This is why I wanted to start with Tommy Westphall. Are there people out there who believe unequivocally that the Tommy Westphall Universe Hypothesis proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that over 400 television shows really and truly do exist in exactly the same universe? That instead of it being a symptom of intertextuality resulting from purposeful cleverness, sure, but also practical convenience, actual accident, and literal coincidence, it proves a fundamental characteristic of Caroline in the City and The Wire is that they could in fact be happening a mere train ride from one another inside a young boy's brain? Maybe. And if so, that's awesome. But even Dwayne McDuffie himself followed his proclamation that, quote, the last 5 minutes of St. Elsewhere is the only television show ever, everything else is a daydream, with an admission that, quote, obsessive cross-series continuity is silly. He was making a point about comic books, and maybe fixating on that kind of thing is silly, but also novel. And as Moviebob points out, both fun and something you can go deep on. Fan theories, maybe Tommy Westphall chief amongst them, are a way to reconsider stories and universes that you love. Maybe to sharpen your thinky bits, maybe to gain a little bit more insight into parts of the story not captured on the page or by the camera, or maybe because you really honestly do believe that Calvin and Hobbes is a prequel to Fight Club. If you don't know about that one, you gotta go Google it. It's very convincing. What do you guys think? What role do fan theories play in popular culture? And do you think the Tommy Westphall Universe Hypothesis holds up at all? Let us know in the comments and I will respond to some of them in next week's comment response video. In this week's comment response video, we talk about your thoughts regarding trigger warnings in classrooms. If you want to watch that, you can click right here or find a link in the doobly-doo. We also have one bit of very exciting news. Idea Channel finally has, hold on one second, t-shirts. It was designed by my friend Andrea, aka Art Sparrow, who is a very talented illustrator. Really excited that we got to work with her. So I'll put some links to her work in the description as well as a link to the dftba.com store where you can buy this Idea Channel shirt. It is the only thing that we have available right now. We're working on a couple other t-shirt designs as well as some other fun stuff, trying to figure out how to get like stickers and various and sundry other things. But yeah, the merch train is finally leaving the station, which is very exciting. Choo-choo, this week's episode was brought to you by the very hard work of these context-crossing fictional characters. We have a Facebook and IRC and a subreddit. Come hang out, and the tweet of the week comes from Nick Stoller, who points us towards an article about conveying and experiencing existential dread via Super Mario Maker. Yeah.